everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fire Up! Are we fired up tonight or what?
Yes, I am.
Of course.
Trying to be.
All right. That's what I like to hear. Well, we've had some football. We're coming to the end. You guys realize we only have how many games left? 3.
I feel like the season flew by.
It did. And here's the crazy thing. Technically 4 if you count the Pro Bowl as a game.
Yeah, I don't count that.
I like the event better than I like the game itself.
Yeah.
Flag?
College football's done. NFL only has 3 games left, really, technically. I mean, it's kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind
It
of
happens every year.
A lot of our teams are flying to Cancun, Cozumel, Puerto Vallarta, Puerto Rico. You know why? We're not in the playoffs.
I know. I mean, some of our teams have been eliminated since Thanksgiving.
I got you.
I remember that week, Samir, and then we had one more week, and then we got basically eliminated when we lost to the Rams.
Was it to the Rams or the Packers on Thanksgiving?
We lost to the Packers, but we still had a 40% chance to get in.
Yeah.
Michael
I
Edwards
really needed you.
and Robbie, the Mad Yenzer. Good to see you both.
So, Michael, the Senior Bowl is a must-watch to follow. I will say yes, and I will be lucky to tell you that I will be live from the Senior Bowl. We leave Monday night. We are going to be there covering it. So we're going to be covering practices, and then the actual Senior Bowl is on Saturday. We will be there.
So I'm going to ask, will you be able to get me any pictures of Francis Mauagawa, Hayden Proctor, Logan Jones, and Kendall Daniels? Because I heard they're all invited to the Senior Bowl.
Well, even Akeem Mesidor is going to be there. Ruben Bain is now going to be there. Mauagawa, I would probably have pictures already of because he played for Miami. So I'm pretty sure I have pictures of him already.
I have a draft profile to copy, and I'd love the picture of him up there instead of my ugly mug.
Hey, let me know, yeah, because I just have to look for him. But I'm sure I've got a picture of him. So yeah, we're super excited. It's the first time Scott and I are covering this event, so we really don't know what to expect, but we're really excited. So
yeah,
I know. How far of a drive is it?
Savage Demon Bish. Ah, yes.
Like
I have a double chin.
Hours.
Thank you. If you'd have saw me back in 2010, I had a triple chin. Smoking Dad. Can I do it, Candy? It's my daddy.
Yes, you can.
Thanks, Dad. Before we get too far into our subject, I do want to ask the South Florida Tribune and the Motor City, the Kneecap Biters from my channel, please say a prayer for my uncle. He's been fighting with diabetes and hospice care the last 3 years, and the family's being called in.
Sorry to hear that. Prayers go up.
And it's more for everybody to come to grips that he'll be better off in the long run.
Allie and Callie, we're talking about the Senior Bowl right now.
Yep, Senior Bowl. The prospects that are going to be going there, we know that there's at least 3 from Miami, probably 4. There's some from Iowa, some from Oklahoma, some Michigan guys. So I don't know if any Michigan State guys got invited because I don't know if any of them did good enough to get an invite. I don't know if overrated state universities got anybody going.
Let me see if I had a list. Let me see.
I know you were not just like routing the red scarlet team down there at the bottom of Columbus, were you?
Yes, I was. That was a little dig at them.
I'm like living in the shadows tonight.
Yeah, I know. foul block in your life.
See, that's the funny thing. Like I'm looking, like it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't do much.
You brightened up a lot. I can see your beard.
Let's see where it.
I hear
I'm trying
you.
to.
That needs fucking touched. That needs touched up.
25 below zero is expected tomorrow in Flint, Michigan, where I live.
Yeah, they're saying we might get some snow, but they've said that a lot. So, I mean, usually they say that a lot, and sometimes we don't get it. So we'll see what happens. But it's going to be very cold tomorrow. I know that. So
Well,
Yeah,
where I have one sister that lives in Wisconsin, their high is not supposed to be above zero, and the schools are all closed. The wind chill is supposed to be negative 45 below.
oh
yeah,
wow.
Minnesota and Wisconsin and North and South Dakota, they have a band in there where they turned it purple on the National Weather Service map. And I'm going to explain it so everybody understands. There is an exploding tree warning. And what that is, the temperature is so cold that sap actually expands. So in a sapling where they have more sap than your older trees, they expand and put too much pressure on the wood, and the trees under 10 inches in diameter, I believe they said, have the chance of just exploding. Negative
Mhm.
15 Wisconsin, negative 45 wind chill here. And one of my other podcaster friends with a good friend of ours, Candy Bo Crouch, his name's Dustin. He lives in Wisconsin by Green Bay. He actually saw a sapling explode.
Oh wow.
That is crazy. I'm trying to find. I had a list of the Senior Bowl attendees, and I can't find it. So, I'm trying to look for it,
Yeah.
but I know there was a whole bunch of. Let's see.
Why are all the pundits talking that this draft class is so underwhelming? I think it's mostly the quarterbacks, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
Because
it's the quarterbacks. And
Yeah.
I know the class is pretty deep at wide receiver, I think. But I think in regards to like your premier positions like defensive end, corner, quarterback, obviously, I mean, there's not really a lot there.
yeah, you got Fernando Mendoza, and then there's everybody else with a steep drop
Yeah.
off.
And then I know
And
defensive end, you've got Ruben Bain, and
you
you've
got
got
Ruben Bain,
the other first
Kenyatta
round,
Walker,
the other first
Akeem
round.
Mesidor. You know, there's like 4 or 5 that are supposed to be good. LT Overton out of Alabama, Akeem Mesidor, the opposite of Ruben Bain there in Miami. Hey, a shout out to Nick Gurr. There you go. No problem. But who else are we talking about? We were talking edge, right? Kenyatta Jackson Jr., if he shows out at the combine, and yes, he is from that OSU team that Adam loves so much. If he has a really good combine, he has the chance to be on the back end of the first round, maybe early day 2. But there isn't a lot out there in the edge room until you get in the middle rounds. Guys like Tariq Sapp, Jamon Tapp, and a few others that have that prototypical defensive end size. You know, that 6'3" to 6'5" and 260 plus pounds. That's where those guys are going to come in. This is going to be more of your meat and potatoes draft. It seems like it's very deep in the trenches. Do you agree with that, Samir?
Seems like it, yeah.
I mean, the interior O-line, you got 5 great ones at center, but one of them is coming off of an injury, and they don't even know if he'll be able to go to the combine, and that's Connor Lew out of Auburn, because he had an ACL tear in the knee opposite of the one that he tore his sophomore year. So that's kind of an injury history, which may allow him to fall. But statistically, he was one of the better centers when he did start every game in the season. Then you got Parker Brailsworth out of Alabama, the Remington Award winner, also on the James Moore offensive line winning offensive line out of Iowa, which is Logan Jones, the center there. Then you
I did find the list.
Awesome.
There, you were asking about Michigan. There are two Michigan players, Rashawn Benny and Derek Moore. There's one Michigan State, Ryan Eckley. There is at least 5 Miami now. I heard Ruben Bain is going to be on there. He's not on the list though. But James Brockmeyer, Akeem Mesidor, Jacoby Thomas, Keontae Scott, and Markel Bell. So all of them. I believe there was 2 Indiana, Elijah Sarrett and Keelan Black.
Yep, that's the running back and their wide receiver.
Yeah, there's 5 from Alabama, 2 from Arizona State, Arkansas, Auburn, Baylor, Boise State, Boston College, Brigham Young, California, Clemson, Dartmouth, Duke, Florida, Georgia State, Georgia Tech, Keelan Rutledge is going to be there. Houston, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa State, Kansas State, Kentucky, Louisville, LSU, Minnesota, Mississippi State, Missouri, Nebraska, North Carolina State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Oregon, Penn State, Pittsburgh, San Diego State. The Pittsburgh one is Kyle Lewis, Adam, for you. So SMU, South Carolina, Stanford, Stephen F. Austin, Syracuse, TCU, Tennessee, Texas A&M has a lot. Texas Tech has quite a few. Toledo, USC, Utah, Vanderbilt, Virginia, Washington, Western Michigan, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So all of those schools are going to be at the Senior Bowl.
At the Texas A&M, is that Jamon Tapp? Is he one of them? I'm just curious.
Who?
Jamon Tapp. J-Mon and T-A-P-P. He's a defensive.
Levon Moss, Trey Zun, Demetrius Crowver, Scooby Williams, Will Lee III, Nate Brockhurcher, and Casey Concepcion.
Okay. The only reason why I asked is because he's one of my sleeper picks that I like at defensive end. I was hoping he'd be there. But he'll probably end up at one of the lesser ones, like the East-West Shrine Game, which is the other Senior Bowl they do. Everybody forgets about that one. There's like a double one where you get the lesser players from out of Division I, some Division II, and some of the HBCU players. And then they have the HBCU game that they have in the HBCU Combine at the same time.
Yep.
Let's see. So this one I believe is split with North-South, correct?
National American, yeah.
Yeah, but it's basically, if you look at it, it's like they split it North-South, because that's what it used to be called back in the day before it was called the Senior Bowl. It used to be called the North-South game, and then the Shrine Bowl was the East-West game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I have no expectations going in, but I know there'll be numerous people there because there's NFL coaches coaching it. So
that's what I was going to ask. Which coaching staffs for National and American? Because they usually announce that too.
They did, yeah.
I think they did announce it.
They did.
Who
is it?
I know it says the running backs coach for the New Orleans Saints, Joel Thomas, will be the head coach for the American team. Clint Hurt, Eagles defensive line coach for the national team. So those are the head coaches.
Right, because they do like the assistant coaches, because this is like a preview to see if they can handle head coaching or being a coordinator and stuff like that. That's why they do that. The one year it was the Lions coaching staff, and I remember it was Ben Johnson, and then it was, because it was after the 2021 season, Aubrey Pleasant was there to work with the defensive back, or for the defensive coordinator. So yeah, it was kind of cool, because Lions fans, that meant it streamed to the Lions website, so we could actually watch it on YouTube instead of having to have cable.
Yep, exactly. Well, what did you guys think of the national championship? Since we're talking college, let's Let's put it out there. What did you guys think, Indiana, Miami? What did you think of the game?
I think Miami took a little bit of their defense for granted versus Indiana. That they thought that they'd be physical enough to mitigate Mendoza and the running game that was going on. Chicken Nugget, good to see you, brother. He's with Lions Nation Unite. That is the channel that Herman Moore created. So
Nice.
I told you, Candy, it relied on that quarterback named Carson Beck. And I think I said if he throws the big interception at the end, they're going to lose. And that's just something I've become accustomed to of watching him over the year.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a lot of dumb plays.
well, it was more the physicality of the Indiana defense that forced a lot of that.
But here I'm going to go back to the blocked punt that resulted in the touchdown, because had that not happened,
It
we
probably
would be
would have
talking
been
a
a
different
different game.
game.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it would have been. It swung the momentum so high to the Indiana side that defense never looked back,
Right.
and it looked like the Miami offense was struggling to get going, and then they started to get going again, but it was
Mhm.
too little, too late. And
Right.
once it got to that point where they had to get a touchdown, I knew that Indiana wasn't going to let it happen.
Malachi's going to be a special player, Candy.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's somebody that nobody thought would. I heard somebody say, "Oh, look, it's that Kamara that got the block." No, he had his hands up. It went between his and the other defensive end that stunted behind him. Isaiah Jones was actually the guy that got the block, recovered it, and ran it in for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting because next year having Tony and Fletcher back, they're both coming back. That's good news
Is
for.
Fletcher going to be suspended for throwing punches?
Oh, I forgot about.
You know,
I don't. We don't know yet. The NCAA is supposed to be launching an investigation into that, because rumor is there might be something coming down on the player that said something to him. Because I heard it had something to do. He said something about his mama, and you just don't
No.
do that.
No. He said something about his late deceased father that died a year ago.
Somebody said it was his mama. Okay.
Yeah. No, it
But
was
either
it
way,
was,
you don't mess
No.
with family.
correct.
That's a hot button topic. It makes most people go over the edge.
Right.
In fact,
But-
there's supposedly something that even this player posted on social media as well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yes, the blocked punt changed the whole tone of the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if they suspend the one guy for the action, they should suspend the guy that caused it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at.
It's true.
I want it to be neutral. Just like it was, if there's a zero tolerance fighting in school, if you started the fight or ended the fight, it didn't matter. You both got suspended for the same amount of time, depending on how many times you've been suspended.
Yeah. Samir, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of thought it would. I feel like the game went the way I thought it would go. I thought Indiana would win because I thought Fernando Mendoza would make enough plays to win it at the end. But Miami's defense most of the game kept him in it until the end, when, as I'm just mentioning, Fernando Mendoza made a great throw on third down, back shoulder, to put them in
Rot,
position.
right?
Yeah, and of course Carson Beck at the end. He did at the end what he did a lot when he was at Georgia. So,
Adam, they're asking you a question.
Wendy's for the win. Single or double?
Did I
Or you
go?
get
I went with that Baconator.
Oh, that's even better. Did you get the double or just the single one?
I didn't get the junior one.
Right, okay.
Is the junior a single?
Yeah, the junior's the single one. And
Or they call it the son of the Baconator. I think they call it
Yeah.
the son of the Baconator.
Yeah,
Son
it's called the son of the Baconator now. Yeah. So you got the double. Good man.
I use my points.
Yet Miami's defense was the strongest point for them offensively, not so much until the fourth. I agree. It became too little, too late. It reminded me a lot of a professional game we watched over the weekend in the divisional round, Rams versus Bears.
We say this, but it's not like Indiana out yarded Miami.
No.
Miami had 342 total yards. Indiana had only 317.
But
Time
Miami
of
looked
possession was way on Indiana's
Miami
team.
looked more alive in the fourth quarter. That's
That's
that's whenever they really start to watch. You're like, wait, Miami's coming back, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, it was an
Miami
ebb and
kicked
flow game.
themselves-
Miami should have won that game.
Miami kicked themselves in their backside. They made too many mistakes. A, on the punt, and 2, penalties. They had a couple of really costly penalties on that last on some of those drives for Indiana too that helped Indiana. Scott went on and has said that he thinks Beck is going to be a 4th or 5th round.
That's
pick.
what
Yep.
it feels like.
I think early day 3. I don't think he'll fall past the 6th at the latest. It really depends on the teams that need a quarterback to develop or not at that point, and if they're developing for their future or if they're developing for a backup. That's going to be and yes, defense does matter, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah.
Defense
And
wins
the team that makes
championships, and I'm going to say both defenses played really well. It was a great game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first half was so, but yes, the second half was more.
So,
Second half was more entertaining. I'll say that.
Yeah,
First half,
yeah. The first half was the defensive battle we thought it was going to be. And then it just came down to, yeah, Miami did have a great run. You're right, Paul.
I will say it proved that Miami belonged to be there, and it also proved that Miami played better against Indiana than the previous 2 games that Indiana played in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I mean, Indiana housed Oregon. It made them look like a Pop Warner team versus a high school varsity team.
Correct.
And wow, what a run! I mean, here's the great thing: Indiana did something that no other team in NCAA history can say they've done. They have now been wire-to-wire winners in a single season, not only in football, but let's not forget the undefeated season with Bobby Knight back in the day.
50 years ago.
Basketball.
In fact, if you head over to the South Florida Tribune's YouTube channel, Scott asked a question of Curt Cignetti at the news conference the day before about Bobby Knight and 50 years ago, his run. So you'll have to go check that interview because Scott did get a question in. He actually got a question in for both coaches, but the one that he asked about with Curt had to do with Bobby Knight and winning the undefeated season and stuff like that. So I won't tell any more. You got to go check out the video.
Oh, I will.
But yes. But that was cool. Yeah, what do you
think about that, Adam? What I said about Indiana being the only team in NCAA Division I to do that.
What, go undefeated?
In basketball and football.
50 years ago, what they played? I mean, did they go? I don't know anything about the basketball. The only thing, when you talk about Indiana basketball, I just think of Bobby Knight throwing the chair across.
That was the season before that happened. So that's funny you bring that up.
But I mean, it's really good. It's not. I don't know. That guy afterwards, I don't know if anyone caught that, but that guy was season ticket holder since 1959. I don't know if anyone caught the old man at the end.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they let him come down and look at the trophy or whatever, but I thought, he looked like he was downstairs in the hallway. I don't know where though, but I thought that was really neat that they brought him down.
Yeah.
I didn't see that till actually the other day, but
And it
you
was
know,
funny.
you never see
Uh,
everything on that day. Go ahead, John.
in the interviews after the game, what I thought was great was when they were interviewing Fernando's dad, and he literally walked over and sat next to his wife to include him in the interview on purpose. I think that was an amazing thing to do. I think that was a very classy act and a gentlemanly act to have his wife be included in the interview.
You know, he doesn't stand up right whenever and cheer because his wife can't.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yep, that's what I mean. He's such a gentleman, and he made sure she was included. You know, to do that, and he knelt down beside her or got in the chair beside her, whatever it was at the time. That was an amazing thing, and that paying homage to the matriarch of the Mendoza family.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Samir, what do you think about his brother?
I think it's interesting. So right now, I don't know exactly who the starting quarterback is going to be. Aaron Philo, who was supposed to be the starting quarterback after Haynes King just transferred to Florida with the former offensive coordinator. So right now they have Graham Knowles, who is a 4-star recruit, Cole Bergeron, who is a 4-star recruit. Now they have Alberto Mendoza. So I don't really know who the front runner is going to be for starter. I'm sure they're going to have a competition and get that figured out. But I think it's interesting. Apparently, he's already on campus. So
right, I heard that too. But what an amazing game to watch! It was amazing. But Adam is right. He did call the late interception to seal the deal for Miami, and it happened. And it sucked, because these kids played their heart out. I love the fact that almost everybody that was draft eligible decided I'm playing this game. They didn't sit out. They actually were there, including the Heisman winner, because we've seen what happened with USC and how the players reacted when Caleb Williams that year decided to sit out their bowl game. And the backup came in, and they actually won the game versus a top 25 team. And all of the teammates actually said it was nice to feel like a team for a change. And that was very telling about the attitude that Caleb had with that team. And I think it's because of the NIL money, because some people let it go to their head.
I'm so glad I do not have to listen to Ross Tucker this weekend. That was the worst. That was the worst. I'm just glad we don't have to listen to Caleb. Oh my God, that was horrible. If you guys did, yeah, I mean, if you think Collinsworth was bad, Ross Tucker was bad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if anyone listened to Sirius the Bears game, but that was, gosh, that was Candy. You'll kick me off the show if I go into what I really thought.
Yeah, I mean, there was a clip of it that went viral. It's like, I mean, you thought Collinsworth was bad with Mahomes.
And I understand the touchdown that was caught by Cole Kmet.
That was the play of the year.
It was only 16 yards.
Yeah, 16 net yards.
Play of the year.
If you remember, he ran back in a state pressure.
I know.
And threw it 44 yards through the air to 5 yards. Off platform.
Jeremy, you know how much I love fucking Caleb.
I know, but I am going to give credit where credit's due. Cole Kmet got the catch. I'm saying he's lucky it got within the area of Cole Kmet because he wasn't looking where Cole Kmet was when he threw it. He just launched it to avoid a sack.
I got my point.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong in how I said it. It was the greatest, luckiest throw I've ever seen.
That's what I was gonna say. Dude, everyone talks about Cole Kmet. Like, after he caught the ball, he caught a couple balls because obviously Loveland got hurt, and everyone kept going, this Cole Kmet guy can catch a ball. And I'm like, did you guys not watch the Bears last year?
Did
Yeah,
you
I
not
mean,
watch him the last
well,
4 years that Cole
Cole
Kmet
Kmet was
there?
like Cole Kmet was one of their top receivers.
yeah, I mean, he's always
Never
been a
was-
decent player. Been decent tight end.
And that was, and I'm like, well, you guys only watch the Bears like because they're in the playoffs. And yeah, I'm so glad I don't have to listen to Ross Tucker this weekend. Because that Candy, if you want to go back and like catch clips of it, it's really, really bad.
It is crazy. Like I saw a clip of it viral on social media. It's crazy.
Bad. I had to listen to the whole game on Sirius. You should like. I was like,
watching it on TV, but still, I mean, that's still the throw of the year. Easily the play of the year.
But at the same time, if he wouldn't have thrown the 2 picks early in the game and the pick in the overtime,
Well, and then
can we blame Ben Johnson for the 1 pick?
yeah, well, I mean, we can also
it
was 4th down
multiple times and
on not taking in a row. You can blame Ben Johnson 2 weeks in a row. He did something to put his team to where they had to come back when they didn't have to. If they'd have just took the 3 field goals in the first half when they were in the red zone, that's 9 points they didn't get, and it happened versus the Rams, and it happened the week before versus the Packers, if you remember right. The first half, Ben Johnson looked exactly like Dan Campbell out there going, we're going for it.
Yep.
Did I miss something? Did I miss something? What's up with the Russia?
I think he's from Russia, evidently, because he was typing and it looked like Russian. Yep, that's Russian that he's typing.
I mean, whenever I think Russia, I think of the 1991 Metallica playing there, where they had to call in the National Guard to stop the crowd from rushing the stage.
Yep, and there also was another great rock band from the 80s and 90s that played there, the Scorpions.
Slaughter to Prevail is pretty good out of Russia right now, too. I got to see them when they played with Falling in Reverse here in Pittsburgh.
So,
since we started talking about the NFL, let's talk about
Sorry,
let's talk about the games. Let's talk about the games that are coming up. So who do we like? Patriots versus the Broncos with the backup quarterback Stidham.
Go Jared.
Unfortunately,
I'll tell you what. This is the craziest stat you can have. Patriots have played in the playoffs 4 times versus Denver in Denver. You know what happened all 4 times?
They've lost all 4 times.
They've lost all 4 times. And with Bo Nix breaking his ankle and having to have surgery Tuesday, who did the Broncos sign to help coach Jarrett Stidham?
It was they signed Ben DiNucci, I think, right?
Nick Foles. They signed Nick Foles. What did Nick Foles do to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl?
He outplayed him.
And I think the Pats have the better. I think the
something Tom Brady doesn't have.
The Philly special, yeah. Here's what I got to say. The Pats should win. Top to bottom, they are the better team. They're better offensively, but they're not better defensively. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
If that Denver defense does what they do and mitigate the first 3 quarters, and Jarrett Stidham somehow gets into a rhythm because they're utilizing that run game because J.K. Dobbins is back practicing, I think that's a huge factor because R.J. Harvey runs better when he's not the guy. He runs better when he's the change of pace guy. If that happens, there is that chance you see the backup beat the guy that's supposed to be the MVP front runner right now.
I mean, anything can happen, but realistically, I know Sean Payton is going to have him ready. I mean, remember 1 year Drew Brees got hurt, and it looked like he was going to miss a significant amount of time. He put Teddy Bridgewater in there, and they went undefeated. They just had
Yep.
Teddy Bridgewater manage the game, and they went like 5-0, 6-0 during that span. And then the year after, he was winning games with Taysom Hill under center after Drew Brees got hurt. That was Drew Brees' last year there.
Yep.
So he's going to have Jarrett Stidham ready. They're going to ask him to manage the game, rely on RJ Harvey in that run game, maybe see if the defense, as you mentioned, can force a couple of turnovers. But I think he's going to have him ready, and it's not going to be a blowout, but I think New England will win.
I think they can win. It's all going to depend on how close it is going into that fourth quarter. That's what I was getting at. If that defense can keep that team in check for 3 quarters, as the defense starts to get gassed and they start needing the oxygen more because of the thinner air and the stamina difference you have to have playing in Denver, it plays a role.
I know we talked about it, but what is the temperature going to be like in Denver?
I'm going to look it up for you right now.
Because, I mean, we're talking about earlier in the show, minus 15 with 45, which would make it a possible negative 60 outside.
Let's see. On Sunday, it is supposed to be a high of 24, a low of 17, wind 9 miles an hour, and precipitation is 20%.
Yep.
So the cold shouldn't be too much of a factor. both of these teams playing cold weather.
And MSN says a high of 22, low of 12. So that's that 5-degree differential depending on what Doppler radar system you're looking at that you always.
Well, and it's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's going to be closer to the high, not the low. Yeah.
But the wind is supposed to be up to 13 miles per hour, which will actually mitigate that as well.
I see we're taking breaks from the stock market tomorrow, I guess. Jeremy, I'm going to go back to your point. I think this game relies heavily if Jarrett Stidham makes mistakes or not. Because if he makes mistakes deep in his zone, all of a sudden that Denver defense is going to be pushed to a brink.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter how deep you pin them. It just matters if Jarrett Stidham keeps turning the ball over.
Right. And that's what you don't know. Jarrett Stidham actually had a decent college career. He was nothing flashy or great, but he was decent. So
I think his last professional throw was 23.
Yeah.
Yep. I said I'm talking about college wise.
Mm-hmm. You got to feel for Bo Nix to get injured that late in the game.
No one even saw it.
Yeah, I know.
And
none of them did.
Second to the last play of the game, during the kneel down, if you remember right, it was like a guy fell on his foot, and at that point they knew they had the game won. So I literally think it was when that guy fell on his foot and he went to stand up, and the adrenaline is what kept him moving off of the field and looking like nothing was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because it literally is a half hour after the game when the news broke, when Sean Payton announced that he broke his ankle.
I still think Cooks caught that ball though.
I don't know. I feel like it was 50-50. Like he might have had it, he might not have had it, and it was one of those where whatever they called on the field was going to be that call.
Yep, and that's what it was. The replay has to have conclusive evidence to turn anything over. And they said it looks like a catch, but at the same time, there's a certain rule that got added after a Chicago Bears game that took a touchdown away from the Detroit Lions, the Calvin Johnson rule, and it does not deal with just touchdowns. He didn't take 2 steps with the ball. He didn't have full control when the guy got to him. He did have control when his knee touched the ground. He has to survive the ground. The rule is you have to get up with the ball. He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing, because we saw as soon as he hit the ground, the ball was moving. It was not secure. So
Right.
he was able to wrestle it away. If he'd have maintained and just held it with the guy and didn't let him get up with it, it's the 50-50 ball that goes to the receiver. But the fact that the defender got up with it is what made it an interception.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my boss was actually at that game.
Oh,
Yep.
she was a happy camper.
He flew him and his
Oh.
7-year-old son flew out there and he got tickets and had a father-son weekend. I'm like, that was pretty cool.
Did you guys get
That's
bonus
cool.
pay
That's
for
awesome.
Martin Luther King Day then?
We had off that day, so
No, I mean you had off. Did he throw in like time and a half on it just because you know he bet on Denver?
yeah. So should we move to the other game? Rams
Yeah.
versus Seahawks. Do we think the Rams have a chance? Seattle was awfully tough.
It's a rivalry game. Now, granted, San Francisco has been held together by dollar store super glue and duct tape all season with their injuries. It finally came home to roost in that game. That kickoff return for a touchdown demoralized them so bad they never came back.
And then they got to midfield and got stuffed on 4th and 1, and that was kind of a sign of things to come from there. But I think, even though it was Kyle Shanahan's best coaching job, in my opinion, I just feel like all the injuries just kind of had their toll. But I think both of these games, Rams and Seahawks, both these games they played were came down to the wire, close games. They
One was
had
overtime.
they had the game of the year, week 15 in Seattle. When Seattle, it was 37-36. Seattle scored. They went for 2. They won the game. Now, I do think, as I mentioned last week, the experience of the Rams is going to be the deciding factor in this game. Now, but if Seattle is going to win this game, it's going to be because they got pressure on Matthew Stafford. They got in Matthew Stafford's face and forced maybe a turnover or 2. That's what we did against them on Monday night when we beat them. We got pressure and forced a couple of bad throws. And ironically, they have the 8th lowest pressure. I mean, they have the 8th lowest blitz frequency in the NFL. So they have the 4th highest pressure rate at almost 40% of dropbacks, but the 8th lowest blitz rate in the NFL. So if they can get pressure, force a couple of turnovers, and Sam Darnold doesn't make any mistakes or doesn't end up seeing ghosts like he did with the Jets and he did last year in the wild card game, then Seattle can definitely win this game. I do think Charbonnet being out is a bigger deal than what most people will think. He's a huge part.
That back injury looked bad.
I know they like to use the 2 backs as a part of that Shanahan offense, which Kubiak comes from. So we'll see what happens there. But I think the Rams are going to win. It'll be another close game. I think
Adam, your thoughts? Who do you think is going to win?
Enough at the end to win the game.
I'm taking I like the Rams this weekend.
You like all the road teams. I've noticed that you typically are picking road teams.
I'm not a Seattle fan. I've been
That's why he's 2-8 in these playoff runs this week. That's the playoff picks.
Maybe that will change.
For some reason, I like the home teams. I mean, I'm not saying the Pats can't win; they will. I'm not saying the Rams can't win. This is on top of it being the conference championship. It's a divisional rivalry game, and we all know the 2 teams play to the potential. But there's a reason why the Rams were second place in the division.
They were third.
Yeah, No, they ended up second. They got the 5th seed. San
Oh, that's
Francisco was
right.
the
That's
6th
right.
seed.
I'm sorry, Jeremy. That's
Because
right,
of
'cause
that
they got to
loss,
play
it
Carolina.
made the matchups go to where Seattle first, Rams second, San Francisco third. Everybody thought it would be different, but hey, this is it. They are the 1 seed for a reason. They're at home for a reason. And Darnold being on the road in the playoffs versus being at home on the playoffs has been 2 different animals. He hasn't made those big mistakes. He has been under some pressure. But let's face it, San Francisco was 32nd in sacks this year for a reason. Because everybody that could sack was on the sidelines in a cast or whatever watching the game.
Mm-hmm.
Dre Greenlaw, Nick Bosa, the rest of them,
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner, all on the sidelines, not playing. And while Zach Charbonnet is a power back, and he isn't.
I thought Winter filled in pretty good for Warner, though.
Oh, Winter did, but he also had a huge mistake. He's the one that left that tight end wide open on that 3rd down play when it was 3rd and long, and Darnold threaded it right past him.
All right, I'm not gonna blow his whole season on one play.
Oh no, I didn't say he was awful. I'm just saying on that play.
Right.
He's not a great coverage linebacker. He's a great tackler. He's good at getting some pressures, but he's not a coverage guy. They probably should have had a different linebacker in coverage.
But he filled in very well.
Yep, he did. He filled in very well. For the last half of the season?
Well, I mean, Tungus had some big drops too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell that he was either nervous because in the regular season he was catching balls when Kittle was out.
Yeah.
Ernest Jones had a game that game.
Ernest Jones, yeah.
Defensively, I think the Seahawks are better than the Rams. And if they're able to keep it close, I think Seahawks win.
Okay. Let's move on.
Who are you taking?
Who am I taking? I think
she always leaves herself out. She always.
I know she does that. She don't like to pick them.
She's like, I'm the host. I can avoid this question.
I think Seattle is gonna. I think their 13th man. I think the home field advantage is gonna just give them that little extra edge.
It'd be nice if I could find my picture of my terrible towel laying in the end zone in Seattle.
So let's talk about some coaching changes. Which coaching hire most surprises you guys? Ever?
Right now, if I had to make a pick, so we have Stefanski in Atlanta, Hafley in Miami, Jesse Minter today in Baltimore, and then Harbaugh to the Giants. It's 4. Do we have any more, or is it 4?
The one that surprised me the most is the one you didn't mention, Robert Saleh to the Titans.
Yeah, that one. I like Robert Saleh. I kind of feel like he got a raw deal with the Jets. It's kind of hard. I mean, it feels like it, but it is the Jets. But I just don't know. I question the fit. Like when you have a young quarterback in Cam Ward, I think the idea is you go offensive mind. But the issue is this coaching cycle isn't very good for offensive minds. You have Clint Kubiak, and then you have Kevin Stefanski, who just came off the board. And now I know they were going to talk to Stefanski, I believe, this past Monday, but he was hired Saturday night before he left Atlanta. And then you have Clint Kubiak, who I know the Pittsburgh wants him, the Raiders want him. So now there's a risk you don't get him. Now it just really, it's really going to depend on who they bring in at offensive coordinator. I think one of Brian Dable or Cliff Kingsbury would go a long way for Cam Ward. I think it's productive that you get an experienced play caller in there, especially a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, who likely isn't going to get another head coaching job anytime soon.
Yeah, I think Cliff Kingsbury would be a great fit there because his Cam Ward style of play was a lot like Jaden Daniels' style of play coming out of college, but Cam Ward seems to have a little better build to him than Jaden Daniels has. And I think he got a raw deal leaving with being fired from Washington because they were riddled with injuries this season. I think he should have stayed. I think they should have kept him on another year to see what they could do if they were healthy. But that being said, I think that would be a great fit for Robert Salah, an experienced, good offensive coordinator. We all know how I feel about Cliff Kingsbury as a coach. It's called the Kingsbury flop for a reason. First half of the season, he's money. He wins 70% of his games. Second half of the season, he wins 30%. It's polar opposite. And that went all the way back to his first head coaching job in college before Texas Tech. 15 years of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he'll ever be a good head coaching candidate because of it, because he doesn't have that killer mentality for the second half of the season.
Yeah. But I think him as an OC would be a great fit. Either him or Brian Dable if Brian Dable doesn't get the Buffalo job.
I heard they interviewed Joe Grady today. How did that go?
I don't know.
They interviewed Joe Brady today, and they're interviewing, I can't believe I'm saying this, they're interviewing Anthony Lynn on Saturday.
I don't get that.
That's a retread of a bad hire from the last time.
So I don't know. Rich told me on Wednesday that if McVay wins the Super Bowl, he might be stepping down.
That's a rumor that I heard too. That McVay, if he wins his second Super Bowl, may step down. But at 40 years old, when you got like 25 guys coach till they're 65 in this league.
Listen, he got a chance to live.
I mean, he's got a chance to coach another 25 years or so if he wants to. But I mean, even now, if he were to hypothetically step down now and do TV with possibly Mike Tomlin,
or do nothing,
or do nothing, he would already be a first ballot Hall of Fame head coach
5 years from now. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to mention that too. The funny thing about it is that all 10 openings during the season, if you propose the idea that this team, you could have a head coaching change there, you'd be like, yeah, I mean, I could see that. But I do feel like Sean McDermott, in a sense, even though he had his shortcomings, he was somewhat of a scapegoat. You look at the Bills draft record since 2020, 2021, they've only drafted 2 Pro Bowlers. One of them is a running back.
Yep.
And essentially, Brandon Beane and the Bills owner publicly, you saw the press conference, they basically threw Sean McDermott under the bus yesterday.
And Keon Coleman.
And Keon Coleman
deserves to get thrown under the bus.
I mean, not publicly like that.
Like that.
I didn't see
alienate a guy.
I missed the conference.
He basically said he was a piece of crap. If you listen to the words he said about Keon Coleman, he called him a piece of crap. And it's been more injury problems with him.
He was a top draft. He was one of the top draft picks, Jeremy. I mean, what else more do you expect?
No, I think they were basically shifting blame. Like the general manager was saying that the coaching staff was responsible for the pick, and they drafted him over Ladd McConkey, by the way. But in reality, there was all of these teams on their pages have they do brief behind the scenes stuff of the scouting combine and the process they're going through when they make these draft picks. Brandon Beane is clearly saying that
that guy's fast.
Yeah, like something about look at his speed, and unless something changes, they're going to go with Keon Coleman. So clearly, they're shifting blame. And when you only draft 2 Pro Bowlers in 5 years, I think they fired the wrong person. I think the general manager should have been fired, not promoted.
Right.
I kind of would have liked the Steelers to come out and say that in 15. You couldn't win the Super Bowl with your three top guys. You're done. I would have been okay with that.
And then also apparently, I guess it was a meeting between Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane, and the owner mid-season. And basically he said that the roster wasn't Super Bowl ready, and they didn't take that well. So I think that also played a role in the decision.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
So, Bean sounded like a third grader left his lunch at home, blamed his mom for making him forget it, then told the lunch lady that his mom forced him to abandon the lunch and beg for food. That sounds about right.
Did you see there's over I don't know what it was at, but I saw it was over 1,000 like a couple hours ago that brings Sean McDermott back. Sean McDermott probably doesn't even want this job anymore.
Oh, I wouldn't. If I was him, I wouldn't want that job. You know where I'd go?
Pittsburgh.
I'd walk over to AG and say, "Hey, let me be your offensive coordinator."
Offensive coordinator? Or you mean defensive coordinator?
Either one. But I'm saying that did Tanner Engstrom do a good job as offensive coordinator?
I'm just thinking Sean McDermott has a defensive background, so he wouldn't.
Yeah, I know, but I'm quite sure he picked up some offense knowledge. But Pittsburgh would be good to get McDermott.
That'd be an interesting one.
I really want an offensive-minded coach, though.
Oh,
I'll go back and hire Mike McCarthy. I mean, that's the rumor, right?
That is no. Right now, it looks like Chris Scholla is going to be our main candidate once he's done.
I don't think that. I think that would be a good hire for them. You get Chris Scholla, get somebody from.
Schalise would probably come with them.
Yeah, somebody from Sean McVay's staff as an offensive coordinator. I think Nate Schalise is getting looks for a head coaching job with the Browns. Nobody wants the Browns job. They've already had 3 people turn down interviews there, so which makes me feel a little bit.
You have to deal with that quarterback debacle, and you have to praise Shedeur Sanders, and
deal with you got to deal with the owner too.
But you have to praise Shedeur Sanders and like all these people that. They're looking for offensive-minded people, and all of these teams passed him up over what 300 picks, 200 picks, whatever it is.
Well, I mean, do you have to praise him? I mean,
until he's picked. I feel Shedeur Sanders is the big reason why no one wants to go there.
I mean, I think it's the ownership.
What's up, Marcus?
It was Jimmy Haslam and the owners that forced the Deshaun Watson trade, which they sent 3 first-round picks, 230 bunch of seconds, 230 million guaranteed. But I mean, I like Shedeur Sanders, but at the end of the day, he's a 5th-round pick. No front office is going to demand that an incoming head coach show blind loyalty to a 5th-round pick who they didn't even draft.
Yeah, but it's expected because of the name. It's not because he's good. He went 13-12 in college. He didn't even play in the bowl games. He went 0-2 or whatever. I'm sorry. Don't even get me started. I had his number retired when Cordell Stewart doesn't even have his number retired in Colorado. Cordell Stewart put up way better stats than that guy.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think of Packers South now in Miami there? GM and head coach.
I think that's an interesting one.
Yep.
I think it'll be interesting to see how Jeff Hafley works in Miami. I was expecting them potentially to maybe go offense to see if they can get that offense together. Maybe if they decide to move on from Tua, get their pick at quarterback there. So we'll see how it works.
Quinn Ewers.
Yep.
Quinn Ewers. I thought he did decent actually when he got playing time at the end of the year. So it'll be interesting there.
But there is also talk that Malik Willis will go down to Miami.
I don't know. If I was the Packers, I would offer him money to stay my backup with how injured prone Jordan Love is.
But he's going to command something. So I don't know that they're willing to pay what he thinks he's worth.
I'm just saying. I would, Katie. I was just saying, if I was the Packers, I would.
I get you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the Packers doing it. I don't see the Packers paying that much. Jeremy, your thoughts?
I'm interested to see what Miami is going to be, but I think I agree with that take right here. If the Packers don't resign Malik Willis, he'll either be a Jet or a Dolphin.
Yeah, I think the Jets in particular are an interesting fit because and I think it would be to their advantage if they sign Malik Willis. They can focus on
Hooker. Jeremy, what why does Dylan like Hooker?
Hendon Hooker?
Yeah, he's in New York. He's on the Jet squad.
Aaron likes him, and Tanner Engstrom is comfortable with him. And as a backup, he really didn't get enough snaps at Detroit to develop. If you remember right, he had the ACL his rookie year, didn't even get to touch the practice squad or practice field, didn't get to play, comes back out, gets limited snaps. He's playing as the QB3 automatically. Only plays in a few preseason games because we don't have 4 anymore. It's 3. He didn't look horrible, but he didn't look good. He looked average. I think with proper development, giving him enough snaps with better quality players rather than playing with the backups all the time, he could develop into something. Because we saw when he was at Tennessee and he took over the reins at that team, he was by far going to be the Heisman winner that year. He had 38 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions when he tore his ACL. And he was leading the Heisman vote until that conference game when Caleb got it.
Might Mac Jones go to one of these two teams too?
Or will they say, wow, we made a mistake signing Purdy? Because Purdy was pretty awful.
In the last game he played, yes.
Yeah.
But before that, he looked good.
Yep. But he's looked
and that
pretty
stat
awful
was
in the
known.
playoffs before.
That stat was known with George Kittle in the lineup. Purdy completed 65% more of his passes or some ridiculous number.
Yeah.
Than when Kittle was out of the lineup.
So unless he has a top wide receiver, the top running back, and one of the top tight ends in the league, he can't complete passes. That's what you're telling me.
What did I see today that Vikings were looking into trading Jordan Addison for Brandon Ayuk?
Brandon Ayuk, because the announcement came out that Brandon Ayuk played his last down, according to John Lynch, was the announcement.
2 years ago now?
Yeah, but they said he will never play another down in San Francisco again.
Well, he screwed him over. He signed that huge contract, Jeremy, and then he just left.
Right.
He's like that Steve Miller song, "Take the money and run, baby."
So Jordan Addison has had 3 straight years with a problem with the law. He's been arrested on 3 different occasions.
The 2 of them DUI.
One was rookie year speeding.
The DUI was the other one, right?
DUI. And now this criminal trespassing that happened down there in Florida at the Seminole Casino.
Oh, yeah, that was the last one.
That just happened like a week ago. Now they're saying that the charges are dropped, but that means the individual dropped them. If there's enough evidence and enough video evidence to support it, the DA can still pick that up. So it's all going to hinge if the DA issues a warrant. But he was arrested for it. That's not a good look. That is not conduct becoming becoming the shield. That's not conduct becoming to a team. And they may want to get out of him because he's coming up on a contract year.
Yeah, so it's gonna be. And then you look on
But-
Sleeper and you see Henry Ruggs is available to pick up on Sleeper, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Well, that's because he got released. He's out.
Well,
Mhm.
I mean, is he going to get another shot?
I think he's eligible for parole in a few months.
Yeah, and they're already said that they will waive the state not being able to leave the state thing because of his employment that he could get. That has been announced already.
So we'd get him 8 games a year if he's staying in Vegas.
Yep. If you have no hope, that's what happens. And the San Francisco 49ers had no hope last week. That's what it all boiled down to. Like you said, the failed fourth down after that touchdown return of 95 yards right off the rip. How great of a pickup was that for their team? Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But will that offense be the same next year if they lose Kubiak? Will that defense be the same if that defensive coordinator takes interviews? Right now, who's the guy from Dylan
Well,
Declan? Dylan Declan from the Bears just is getting interviewed right now.
Yeah. Well, defensively, Mike McDonald, to my understanding, calls the plays, and same in Chicago. And when you have most offensive coaches or not CEO coaches, Ben Johnson calls the plays.
Right. And I'm going to say this again. If you look at the Lions this past year, after week 9 in that debacle where they lost at home to Minnesota, there was an argument between John Morton, and Dan Campbell. A heated argument. You could see where both of them had like their veins popping out on their forehead, like they were going to stroke out. They were so angry. The next week, what happens? Morton stripped of his play calling duty. And as you watch, the first 3 weeks, that defense was good to mid. After Dan Campbell wasn't putting his input as CEO on both sides of the ball because he had to focus on offense, the defense started to suffer. And it started with that Giants game. We had 3, 4, 5 straight games of giving up over 400 total yards of offense.
What do we think about what's one of the other ones that we had? Who else?
Well, we had Mike McDaniel go to OC after Greg Roman was fired for San Diego. And that's 2 of the most eclectic coaches there has been in the NFL that are together. I wonder how that marriage is going to work.
What about Eric Bieniemy going back to the Chiefs?
We should know that's going to happen. Matt Nagy left, so Eric Bieniemy comes back. Every time Eric Bieniemy leaves, Matt Nagy comes back. It happens every time. Every 2 years, it's like they shuffle who's going to be OC this time.
Yeah.
I think McDaniel's going to get that run game fully operational in the LA land.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think you're going to see something pretty close to 2020, 2021 Justin Herbert, I think, with McDaniel there. I think he's going to get the most out of him, which Greg Roman was unable to do before. So I like the fit there. I like him strictly calling plays, and I think it'll be a good fit there.
I like him as an offensive coordinator way more than a coach.
I just think they're going to end up butting heads because of 2 different styles of coaching.
I just want to know if he's going to go back to not looking like a drug dealer anymore and back to looking like a normal person.
No, that'll never happen. He got too used to Miami. The good Cuban gold.
Jeremy, what do you think about your new OC?
Well, I was going to save that for my town, but if you want me to get into it, well, you're talking about a guy that has 13 years of experience as an assistant coach and 3 years after that as an offensive coordinator with the Arizona Cardinals. And in order for you to really judge him for the run game, because this year that running back room was more injured than the Lions roster. They lost James Conner week 3. They lost Trey Benson week 4. They lost the third string running back in week 5. They were hiring grocery clerks and furniture movers the rest of the year to run the ball, which is why the
Demarico, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I might have butchered that name, but
yeah, it was bad. I know. And I mean the player, but I don't mean the name.
right.
But,
right.
but
Michael
what he
Carter
did
was
was,
their starting running back at the end of the season, I believe.
yep. And if you look at what he did with Jacoby Brissett when Kyler Murray was out for the season,
Kyler Murray's not very good.
no, he's not very good. But Jacoby Brissett actually only ended up like 500 or 600 yards behind Jordan Love for the season and didn't get to play the first 6 weeks. He had him as the 7th best passing yardage and 7th in passing touchdowns for the
And
season
Marvin Harrison was
as a
hurt too,
team.
Jerm.
And
Don't
Marvin
leave that out.
Harrison was hurt, and Marvin Harrison, the most NFL pro-ready wide receiver, is what we heard when he came out of OSU. Yet, I've yet to see it in the NFL.
He's been on a bad team. He hasn't had a quarterback that can throw him the ball.
Oh, yeah, I'm Marty Russell. That's exactly why I said it, but it didn't work out well for the running backs. Quarterbacks, that's different. I think if you find a guy that's a diamond in the rough, you can find him anywhere. Like pick 199 for the Patriots back in 1999. But at the same time, this guy, when James Conner did have a full year in 2024 and played all 17 games, he averaged 5.9 yards per carry, behind only who? Derrick Henry.
James Conner was good when he wasn't injured.
Right, and the next year when he played 15 games, he had another 1,000-yard season. This past year, not so much.
Yeah, I am honestly surprised that Detroit didn't go with Mike McDaniel. I mean, I think the fit would have been much better than the one in LA because 12 of the games are inside, and his offenses have traditionally been better inside or in warmer weather as opposed to outside in cold weather. And he can utilize Gibbs, St. Brown. I think he can get Laporta back to his rookie self.
Well, when you go deep dive, and these guys do, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, when they sit down on these interviews, they ask questions to get into a deep dive. Mike McDaniel does not like play action for a quarterback that's not mobile. He doesn't like that type of offense. He wanted to change to a more of a man blocking scheme instead of the zone blocking scheme, which we use already there. Whereas Drew Pensick uses a zone blocking scheme. He likes using RPOs as a play action versus having the quarterback run. Kyler Murray makes those decisions to run because he knows he's not a good quarterback. So I'm just saying, look at what he did with Jacoby Brissett. You give him Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Isaac Tesla, Sam Laporta coming back healthy. He's supposed to be back by training camp now. It was just a herniated disc. It was not that degenerative disc disease that everybody thought. Then you got add in a good center and a good tackle, whether it's through free agency or the draft. This team's back humming. And I think because Pensick utilizes the 12 and 13 man 38% of the time and play action at a 32% rate, which kind of aligns exactly with his best friend from his first coaching job in Division 1A as assistant video control coach or whatever the video coach is at Boston College, under who? Ben Johnson, the tight ends coach, the passing game coordinator for Boston College, where they became best friends. He was a groomsman at Ben Johnson's wedding. So there's a little bit of a tie there, but it's not to Dan Campbell specifically. And I think he's going to be able to put his stamp on it. It may not be as creative as Ben Johnson with the trick plays and stuff like that, but it's going to be a similar ran type of offense. And I think it's going to be Dan Campbell's offense with Drew Pensig's stamp on it.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about NFL? Otherwise, I was thinking going to my town.
That's it.
Well,
Okay.
we do have a new defensive coordinator for Dallas. What was it that I saw on Sleeper? Chris Parker, I think it was, from Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The defensive back and passing game defensive coordinator there is now the defensive coordinator in Dallas. Is it going to work? We don't know. I know that he does coach that secondary well. I know that secondary had issues this year because there was times when the pressure disappeared when Jalen Carter went out and then Jordan Davis went out for a bit. The defensive line wasn't getting as much pressure. So I think it might be a good fit there because let's face it, their defensive backs can't get any worse.
Okay. Samir, why don't you start my town?
Oh yeah, so the Hawks finally won a game last night. They beat the Grizzlies 114-112. Jalen Johnson is solidifying his All-Star campaign. He deserves to be a first-time All-Star. So right now, notably, the Hawks do have the worst of the first-round pick between the Pelicans and the Bucks. The Pelicans currently have the worst record in the NBA. And if they finish the worst record, that pick is a guaranteed top 5 lottery pick, according to, I think, the new rules they made this year. Nothing much on the Braves front. Falcons have a new head coach, Kevin Stefanski. The reaction in Atlanta has been largely negative. I think in large part due to, we just fired a retread coach who struggled at his last stop. Why are we going down this path again? And yeah, there were some bright moments. He's a 2-time coach of the year, went to the playoffs twice. He had notably he had a higher win percentage in Cleveland than Bill Belichick did in Cleveland. But now there are issues with play calling. He had to give up play calling twice. Notably last year, they had 13 different starting quarterbacks, not all of which was his fault. I mentioned the Deshaun Watson saga earlier. So Matt Ryan seems to really have a lot of faith in this, seems to believe he's the right guy. I know they wanted experience there at the head coach position with likely a first-time president and probably a first-time general manager. They're doing general manager interviews right now. Ian Cunningham seems to be the favorite there. Notably, they requested to interview Joe Douglas tonight as one of their 6 or 5 interviews. I don't think he's going to get the job. I'd be surprised if he did. So I think we should have an announcement on that by Monday. And that is it for my town.
What about the article you wrote, Samir?
Oh, yeah. Notably, Andrew Jones finally, in his 9th year of eligibility, got inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, just getting that 75% threshold. It was long overdue. He should have gotten much earlier. I think a large part of why he didn't get in is because he had an early drop-off after he signed that contract with the Dodgers. And his batting average went to like 150 in his first year in LA at age 30, 31 years old. But I think when you have a decade, when you're arguably the best defensive center fielder in baseball, you hit over 400 home runs. It should have happened much earlier, but long overdue is better than never. So good for him.
I wanted to add for you, don't forget Kevin Stefanski brought in his offensive coordinator, Tommy Reese.
Yeah, but notably, seems like Kevin Stefanski is going to be the one calling the offense. So I think Tommy Reese will help more with game planning and setting up a game plan and scheme and whatnot, but Stefanski will be calling the plays. And they did retain Jeff Ulbrich and most of the defensive staff. So
Thank you, Paul.
And that's it for my town.
Adam, what's happening in your town?
With Penguins, jumped up to second place in the division, and they were winning big. They were up 3-0 last I looked, but it was the second period. A couple Pirates changed their numbers. Most notable, Nick Gonzalez changed his number from 39 to 3 for Dave Parker. Steelers still in that quest. I think they're going to go after Chris Scholla, but they're going to have to wait.
Okay.
All I gotta say is, if you get the announcement, it's Mike McCarthy. Expect the Aaron Rodgers signing the next day.
No,
I think Aaron's.
no,
I think Aaron is though.
Candy loved that
No.
take.
no.
Oh,
41 years old. Go off into the sunset.
he'll be 42 next year. Yeah, I know.
Whatever. Okay, the arm's slowing down, and I don't know. No, it's not. Well,
It could have been worse.
he's throwing more now to get the interference than he is trying to throw the deep ball.
And that's not such a bad thing.
That's all I
Three
got.
first
for right
downs
now.
are good. All right.
So it seems like I don't know if Clint Kubiak goes there, but I think a lot of Steelers fans want offense, but it seems like it's going to be Chris Scholla.
Oh, where did Jeremy go?
He disappeared,
He just disappeared. He's like a magician and just disappeared.
right? And he was going to go off on my town. It's all he talked
I know he was waiting for it, you know. Wow. Well, oh, there he comes back.
Hashtag promote Arthur Smith.
No, the Omar told all the coaches to pack up their shit and get the hell out of here. I do feel bad for Danny Smith, but he's probably going to retire in Florida like they all do, and this is where he's coaching now, so he's set.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy.
Oh, my town, Detroit. Detroit Red Wings
Freezing.
tied for first in the Atlantic Conference with 66 points. In the NBA, the Pistons are rolling. It's great here right now to have 3 of your 4 teams looking like they're going to be playoff worthy. And we were one tie away from having a chance at being at the playoffs this year because we have the exact same amount of wins and losses as the Packers and Vikings. Let's say.
Well, you didn't have the exact same. We had a tie. But
I'm with you.
Wins
Yenzer.
and losses was exactly the same. I hear you, Andrew. I just like doing it because I like to see you guys freak out when I say it.
What are we freaking out to?
McCarthy.
Look, you couldn't get it done with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. Why bring him here?
yeah, but you're doing that with Jerry. Do you really think you could
Doesn't
do it?
matter. He had a way better quarterback and a top 5 wide receiver.
The Crypt Keeper has already made his announcement. He said he'll retire when they win a Super Bowl again.
Who?
Jerry Jones.
Oh, well, dude, he's never gonna. He gets it. I don't even know. I don't even know what he gets, but whatever. He's gonna be waiting a while.
I call him that because he looks like a walking skeleton compared to what he looked like 5 years ago. I think he aged because of McCarthy.
That could be. That could be. Jeremy, are you done or you have more
Yeah,
for
I'm
your
just saying that there isn't much. I went into the Drew Penzig thing already, and I think it's going to be a good hire. I want to see, and I'm waiting for the day they announce the free training camp tickets come up because I'm going to get 4 of them.
As far as my town, there's been some rumblings let's face it, Giannis called out. If you're into the NBA, Giannis called out his other teammates, saying that they're not gelling together, they're not playing with heart and giving it their all.
He really wants out of there.
Yeah.
He
And
had
that's
said
what I
he
laughed
didn't.
at.
Well, I don't know. It'll be interesting because now with all of this coming through, you never know. On the Brewers side, the Milwaukee Brewers side, they traded away their closer in Freddie Peralta to the Mets.
That was huge. That was huge.
Yeah.
That was a big trade for them. But the thing is he becomes a free agent at the end of this year. We don't know if we're even going to have baseball next year, but that's neither here nor there. But they got two good draft picks, prospects, very good prospects in, and that's
They're both on. They were on the Mets 40-man roster. I don't know how they're prospects.
I know. Well, they were at the end there, but so they're up and coming players. Let's put it that way. They're not, seasoned veterans like Freddie is, and that's what Milwaukee does. They don't have the big payroll. They're not going to be able to sign everybody. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. The Packers obviously are looking for a DC. Now that Miami took the GM and the DC, so we'll see who they hire. There has been a bunch of different names. One of the names that's come back into the mix that was there a while ago that would probably be a big fan favorite is Jim Leonard. He coached at Wisconsin, so but I don't know if that'll happen or not. So we'll just keep watching and seeing what's going to happen. Yeah, that I think it pretty much covers. Like I said, we're going to the Senior Bowl next week, so we'll. I do plan on doing this show unless something happens, but I do plan on having the show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
From Alabama.
Yep, because we'll be at the hotel by then because there's nothing going on. I don't think at night like that. The practices are normally during the day, and the game is Saturday afternoon. So
make sure you take 2 computers so Scott can jump on too.
Yes, exactly. Yes, we will do that for sure. Anything else you guys want to talk about tonight? Okay, with that being said, Jeremy, you were going to say something?
Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody who watched, whether it's my channel, Adam's channel, Samir, if you posted a link, and Candy. Mm-hmm. We love all of you. Let's move forward. Let's make it better.
The Penguins put up 6 goals on Tristan Jarry tonight. I think they know how to score on him.
So I'm going to do my plug here because I haven't done that. The South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by my husband, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about his 45 plus years in the media business and how it has evolved and changed. Old school media versus new school media. Get your copy today. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. And yes, it is finally out on audio version as well. So if you have Audible or Nook or any of those, you can purchase the book and listen to it. If you'd like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you see that red subscribe button, please click it, like us, share us, and then subscribe to everybody else's channel that's on any of our shows because we're all here trying to grow and help each other grow. So please do that. And then, and turn on the notifications. Oh, and there's Jeremy's actually reading. Oh, he's posing as he's reading because he knows what page his name is on in the book.
155, paragraph 2. I keep it there. Hey, Michael Ditton Edwards, you should check it out. If you're looking at getting into broadcasting or podcasting, I know you already write. It's actually a very good read.
I only watch sports for money, but I'm usually just watching the play-by-play. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Yes, appreciate that. Scott wrote it. I didn't. I did the technical stuff to get it up, but Scott wrote it, not me. He's the writer of the two of us. Samir, how can people find you?
You can find me every Thursday night here on My Town. You can find a lot of my work on the South Florida Tribune website. I just wrote an article, as I mentioned earlier, about Andrew Jones Hall of Fame induction. And you can find me on X at ATL_Samir2401. I post a lot of sports content, Atlanta sports content, and some of my articles there. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll look forward to it. Seeing you guys next week.
Adam, how can people find you?
You can get me at oh my gosh, at Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. You can also get me at Sports Talking It on Twitter and Facebook at McNally. Marty, thanks for tuning in tonight. I know actually you're probably in the same temperature as we are up here in Florida. Anyway, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Always fun to read the comments. Always give us a little something more to talk about. So
exactly. Yeah. Jeremy, how can people find you then?
Well, you can find my writing right here on the SouthFloridaTribune.com. You can find me every Thursday on Fire Up on the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. You can also find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions, where I go live Monday through Friday at noon, Wednesdays nights at 9:30, and at 9 p.m. Friday night. And during the regular football season, you will see my fantasy football talk on Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Occasionally, whether it's Inside the Pigskin or Driving to the Top Productions open mic night, you will see me on one of those two programs at 9 p.m.-ish on YouTube, on their channels, respectively.
So if you don't follow our channel, you can find me Monday nights on baseball on 108 Stitches, Tuesday night on Inside the Pigskin, Wednesday nights on Sports Exchange, Thursday nights here, the Country Club on Fire Up, and then Saturday mornings we do another Inside the Pigskin, and this week we're going to be doing another 108 Stitches, or talking baseball as well. So turn on those notifications so you're notified every time we go live. One last shout out, prayers, Jeremy, to your uncle.
Yeah, Robert Neal Lilly. Uncle Bob, you're my second dad. I love you very much. Prayers up for Amy, my mom, which is his younger sister, my Aunt Beth, and all of you as we go through this.
With that, everybody enjoy the playoffs this weekend. You know, this is one, we only have 2 more weekends of football. This is one of them, so enjoy, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.